Hi there, Catherine Mattice. I am the conference chair this year for the International Association on Workplace Bullying and Harassment. The conference is here in San Diego, where Greg and I both live. It's never been in the US before. This is the 13th conference, so it's a big deal. So Greg, I'm so excited for you to join me and talk to me a little bit about what you've been working on these days. And funnily enough, Greg and I live down the street from each other. So I know you have a new book coming out on coaching for respect. Talk to us about that. And I know that's what you're presenting on at the conference too.
Yes,
yeah?
That's right. Well, thank you so much. It's an honor to be here and an honor to be invited to speak at the conference. I'm really looking forward to it, especially in our hometown. Normally, you and I, we're traveling all the time to talk about our work. And here we are in San Diego, beautiful San Diego, getting to do our thing right here in hometown. So it's really very, very nice. So what we've been working on is essentially helping people understand the value of respect in the workplace. Not only is it the right thing to do, but it also is very, very good for business and for retention in this world of so-called great resignation, what you and I might call the great reconsideration. Mm-hmm. And the book is essentially a how-to guide to support the repair of relationships at work where respect has been lost. Now, I want to be clear that this is a voluntary process that I developed over the course of many years of training in mediation and executive coaching and group coaching. And I focus, like you, on working with individuals who are in conflict situations, under stress, in regards to workplace behavior. And there are occasions where the behavior doesn't cross the line and legal needs to get involved, or a formal disciplinary process and what have you, but the parties have lost respect for one another and are willing to try to repair the relationship. And that's what my book is about. And that's what the process is about. It's called Coaching for Respect. It's a 10-step process, and really the core of it is helping and supporting and guiding these two people, provided they are willing to give it a shot. It's not easy to do. It requires a lot of honesty and upfront willingness to examine your own behavior and own it. Yeah. But we have found that if we have parties who want to do it and are coming at it from a place of integrity, it actually does work. And so a lot of our clients said to us, well, do you have a book? And the answer is no, but I will. And so that's what the book is all about.
So I'm curious about this. I'm just thinking about, if I work with someone who I've lost respect for, they've lost respect for me, what's in it for me? Why volunteer to engage in a process so that we can rebuild our respect?
That is a great question. We have found that a lot of people at work, when they lose respect for one another, it's not because the other person has deliberately done something disrespectful and not behaving like a sociopath, but instead they've gone unconscious to their own behavior. They've always kind of done what they've done. Nobody's ever called them on it. And then one day they find that their colleague has fallen out with them and is not communicating or working with them the way they used to. And they're wondering what the heck went on here. And maybe that person who felt disrespected talked to somebody else or went to HR and said, look, he or she didn't go over the line per se. And I want to give them a second chance, but they got to own their stuff. Mm-hmm. And so then there's this conversation with that other person. Hey, this came up. Are you willing to go down the road to try and reconcile and make this relationship work out better? And it's at that point that I might get the call and HR will say to me, hey, we think we have two people who have fallen out with each other. They're willing to give something a shot, and we would like you to take them through this process. So what's in it for them? The short answer is maybe they can reclaim the relationship. Maybe it was a relationship that worked really well. Mm-hmm. And if they can solve it, instead of falling out, people asking for a transfer or disciplinary or people being terminated and all that kind of stuff, if they can make it work, then that's better for just about everybody.
Yeah, I would think too, nobody wants to be at work where they don't get along or they're uncomfortable, even if maybe I don't super dislike you, but if I don't respect you and you don't respect me and we have to sit in meetings together, then
Right.
it's uncomfortable and there's an elephant in the room. So maybe that, even if I don't necessarily care about that person, but I might prefer not to be in uncomfortable situations when I'm at work.
Yes, I really like what you said just then about I don't necessarily like them. And our research at the center has indicated that you don't have to like someone to work with them. You've probably heard that
Yeah.
before. But what we did find is you do have to have some level of respect for them. And so we all have people that we work with that we really like, that we like to socialize with, maybe even on the weekends. But we also have plenty of other people that we work with that we don't like that.
Right.
And yet we still work well with them. That's because we have some level of respect for them, either for their knowledge and experience, or their talents and their skills, or the way they treat us and other people. It's usually in those areas that we have respect for each other.
Yeah. What about bullying? I got to tie that in there. Does this process work in a situation where one individual has been bullying the other?
It can. Again, the person who has been engaging in the bullying behavior needs to own their stuff.
Yeah.
And again, I'm an optimist. I tend to give people the benefit of the doubt. A lot of the time, and I'm sure you found this too, when we go in and we conduct the initial interviews and we start talking to people, the person who was accused of bullying goes, I had no idea. I didn't know that people were responding to me that way. That's usually because nobody ever called them on their behavior.
Right.
And the question is, at that point, I or you might say to them, look, this is what happened. This is how it was perceived. Are you willing to own it? Are you willing to apologize for it? And are you willing to change and work on a new way of being? And if you are, it's my job to gauge whether or not you really are sincere, or are you doing this just because you were told to do this or else?
Yeah.
So that's part of the process, is identifying whether the person really is committed to going through it.
Okay. That what we're talking about here is very dear to my heart in this moment, just because I've had two very strikingly different people that I was coaching. One owns it. She's upset and off, I just can't believe it's so awful. Help me. And then the other person I was coaching, I took them on right at the same time, was just so like, I just treat people the way that they deserve to be treated. And and so we're not coaching. I'm like, I can't coach you.
That's part of our process too. The person running the process from the get-go gets to say, if it's me brought in by a company, I say to the head of HR and head of legal, I say, look, I get to make the call whether or not this person is willing and has full integrity in this process. If at any time I feel that they're out of integrity or basically just going through the motions, I call a halt and you guys take over. You do what else you need to do from an HR and legal perspective. But if they stay in integrity, if they're willing to work this out, I will let you know, and we'll do our best to make it happen. So people often say to me, can you guarantee this process will work? And the answer is absolutely not.
Right. Like, no, this is humans we're talking about. No, I can't see anything.
Exactly.
I have one last question for you. What have you found in terms of just the power differential? There's plenty of leaders out there who maybe feel like you should respect me because I'm the leader.
Right.
But I don't have to respect you. How does that play a role in this?
Yeah, there's this old fashioned kind of sense that, well, because I have the badge or because I have the title, that you have to respect me based solely on my seniority or my authority, what have you. And all of our research says that actually backfires,
Right.
that when a leader or a manager insists on being respected based solely on their title, the opposite happens, that they are disrespected. And people might not say anything to their face, but they are not respected. So it actually backfires. We actually believe that leaders have to earn the respect and trust of those they lead rather than the other way around.
For sure. Well, this has been great to chat with you. I really appreciate your time today, and I'm looking forward to seeing you at the conference. Although we live just down the street from each other, I'm sure I'll see you before then. But for all of you listening, again, this is for the International Association on Workplace Bullying and Harassment. We have a conference that is where the world's experts come together to talk about what they're learning, how to solve these problems, why these things happen. So join us. And thanks again, Gregg.
My pleasure. Thank you.